A woman walked in on her husband cheating with the lady next door. She grabbed a knife and decided to teach him a lesson. But her husband overpowered her. In the struggle between the three of them, she got stabbed. Then the neighbor woman shoved her off the balcony. A boy named Nick heard the commotion. When the husband came downstairs to check things out, Nick had already seen the woman's body, and the man standing there holding the knife. Nick panicked and bolted, but there was a car waiting right outside. The boy was killed on the spot. The husband collapsed to the ground in shock, but not long after, he moved on and started a family with the neighbor woman. The boy's mother was heartbroken. She sold the house and left town for good. Fast forward 25 years on a stormy night just like that one. A woman named Vera moved into Nick's old house. While unpacking and sorting through the place, they found an old television and VCR tucked away in the storage room, along with a dusty old tape. The moment Vera touched it, the lights in the room started flickering. Out of curiosity, the family popped the tape in. It turned out to be a video Nick had recorded 25 years ago, footage from the very day he died. After it finished playing, David took the tape out. Right then, the lights flickered again with a crack of thunder. The television switched on and started playing old news from 25 years back. Nobody paid much attention to it. They had dinner plans with friends coming up. Over dinner, David brought up the tape with Ito, since Ito was the one who had hooked them up with the house. Turns out Nick had been Ito's best friend growing up. Ito was actually there the night Nick died. When Ito started bringing up the past, a woman at the table immediately cut him off because she had been part of that whole tragedy. She could not hold it together. The whole thing sparked David's curiosity. After dinner, he went online and started digging. The husband, Angel, had been arrested for killing his wife but died by suicide in prison. What threw David off was, Angel had confessed to something he apparently never actually did. He claimed he had planned to bury his wife at a slaughterhouse. Vera was not really interested in any of that. What she was more focused on was why her husband had a hotel matchbook in his pocket. David scrambled to make up an excuse, then tossed the matches out the window. The thunderstorm raged on through the night and woke Vera up from her sleep. She heard a television playing somewhere, so she got up to check it out. The television in the storage room was showing old news from 25 years ago. Vera reached over and hit the power button. Then out of nowhere, thunder cracked, and Nick's face appeared on the screen. When Vera turned the television back on, a bolt of lightning struck the antenna. Nick could see Vera through the screen too. He curiously waved at the television. Vera freaked out and turned it off. But in the end, her curiosity got the better of her. She turned it back on. Vera realized she had somehow made a connection with Nick from 25 years ago. While the two of them were talking, Nick suddenly heard shouting outside his window. Something was going down across the street. Vera immediately put two and two together. She desperately warned Nick not to go outside. Nick was shaken up. Vera explained what was about to happen and showed him the news report from 25 years ago about his death. If Nick walked out that door, he was going to die. Nick turned off the television in a panic and then ran outside anyway. But this time, the car just barely missed him. Vera's warning had bought him enough time. She had actually changed the course of Nick's life. When Nick realized the woman on the television had been telling the truth, he quickly sketched out what she looked like, then planted himself in front of the television waiting for the connection to come back. Soon enough, he spotted a figure on the screen, but whoever it was did not respond. Nick pulled back the curtains and saw Angel outside talking to Ado's uncle about something. After Angel left, Nick smashed through Angel's back door and snuck inside. He found Angel's wife's body. Nick was scared out of his mind. Angel had gone to the slaughterhouse to grab some tools. He was planning to dismember his wife's body, while Nick was looking around the house. He came across a passport. The photo inside was of Ado's mother, but the name on it was Angel's wife's name. It was a fake passport. Right then, Angel came back with the tools. Nick dove under the bed to hide. He found a woman's watch under there, with the initials CM engraved on the back. Then he watched with his own eyes as Angel fired up a chainsaw and did the unthinkable to his wife's body. Nick was shaking so hard he could barely breathe. Cut to 2014. That same night, after talking to Nick, Vera suddenly blacked out. When she came to, she was at the hospital where she worked, but she was no longer a medical assistant. She was now the best surgeon in the whole hospital. Vera rushed to her daughter's school, but her daughter was nowhere to be found. She ran to her husband's office, and David had absolutely no idea who she was. Vera completely fell apart. Everything around her had turned into something she did not recognize. David called the police right away. Vera broke down trying to explain what happened to her, including the whole story about connecting with Nick. She was desperate. She had to find her daughter. The sheriff did not brush her off. He actually made up his mind to do everything he could to help her. Just then, thunder rolled through the sky, and something clicked for Vera. Maybe that storm had changed everything. By saving that boy, she had caused a chain reaction that altered the course of everything. So if she wanted to find her daughter, she first had to confirm whether her theory was right. She drove to her house, the same one that had been Nick's place 25 years ago. She noticed the door had been forced open. The layout inside was nothing like she remembered. There was no television or VCR in the storage room. Vera sat down at a computer and searched Nick murder, 1989. Nothing came up, then a woman appeared behind her. The woman thought she was a burglar and called out for her husband. Vera was stunned to see that the woman's husband was David. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning knocked out the power. Vera used the moment to slip out and caught a glimpse of Angel walking with Ado's mom. Vera was puzzled. Why had Angel never gone to prison? It hit her that she could reach out to Ado for help, but Ado had no idea who she was. Vera walked him through how they had met. They had crossed paths on a train. The bumpy ride had gotten them talking. They became close friends. Then at a party one night, Vera met Ido's buddy David and they fell for each other. Ido listened to the whole thing, then smiled and shook his head. That was not how it went. When they shook hands, Vera suddenly got a flash of Ido's memories. They had been on the same train all right, but they had never spoken. Sitting across from Vera had been a curly-haired man. Ito was freaked out by her reaction. He was about to walk away when Vera brought up Nick. 25 years ago, Nick had witnessed Angel kill his wife, then got hit by a car and died. Ito got heated. He said Angel was a good man. There was no way he killed his wife. His wife had run off with someone else. And after that, Angel became Ado's stepfather. Vera told him that was not the truth. Ito was not trying to hear it. He turned around and walked off. The sheriff had been worried about Vera, so he had followed her there. Then Vera had an idea. If she could recreate the exact setup from when she connected with Nick, same television, samey VCR, samey location, samey stormy night, maybe she could re-establish the connection and find her way back to her daughter. There were only 19 hours left before the storm cleared. She had to track down that television fast. The stuff was probably still somewhere in Nick's old house, but searching it would require a warrant. Vera's story was not exactly convincing. The sheriff needed solid evidence. Then Vera remembered. Back in her original world, Angel had confessed that he had planned to bury his wife at the slaughterhouse. Maybe in this version of the world, the reason it never came to light was because Angel had actually gone through with it. The sheriff immediately took a team to search the place, and sure enough, they found remains buried there. The sheriff was fully on board now. He wrote down a hotel room number and handed it to Vera. Vera assumed Nick was staying there, but when the door opened, it was one of her coworkers. Vera figured Nick must be upstairs, so she headed up to check, but the person who answered the door was David. Vera spotted a matchbook on the table, samey one that had been in David's pocket in her original world. Everything clicked into place. She finally understood why David had been so flustered back then. No matter what version of the world it was, David was always going to cheat on his wife. But none of that mattered right now. David was a bank executive. He had access to every resident's personal information. Vera threatened him. Either he looked up Nick's address, or she would blow up his affair to his current wife. David had no choice but to cave. He pulled up Nick's address in no time. Vera had no idea yet what kind of truth she was about to face. Angel had been arrested. The sheriff pulled out a photo of the watch. 25 years ago, Nick had brought that watch to the police to accuse Angel of killing his wife, but Angel flipped the script and used the broken window glass as evidence, claiming Nick had broken in and stolen the watch. Angel explained his wife's disappearance by saying she had flown to Berlin to be with her lover. The police had actually found her exit records, along with credit card charges in Berlin, so they could never pin anything on Angel. Nick got framed and had no choice but to hand the watch back. After that, Nick kept a constant watch in front of the television, hoping the woman would show up again and tell him what to do next. But the storm had passed. Only his mother had ever believed him. Then the sheriff suddenly asked Ido's mother to take off her watch. The back of it had the initials CM engraved on it. Those were Ido's mother's initials. The watch Nick had brought in back then also had CM on the back, which meant Ido's mother had been at the scene too. The reason Angel's wife's disappearance never raised any red flags was because Ido's uncle had helped cover it up. He worked at the airport, so he used his sister's photo to forge a fake passport in Angel's wife's name, then had his sister use that passport to leave the country, creating the illusion that Angel's wife had taken off. Ito's uncle handled the border clearance for his sister with a fake passport himself. All three of them were in on it together. Angel tried to talk his way out of it, but the sheriff hit him with something that shut him down completely. The sheriff was Nick. 25 years ago, nobody had believed him, but he never gave up. 25 years later, he used the moment when Vera crossed through time to finally blow the whole thing wide open. The truth nearly broke Vera. Nick's mother sat down and told Vera everything. In this version of the world, the sheriff was Nick all grown up, and Vera was his wife. Just then, Nick came back. He told Vera everything that had happened in this world after Nick was saved by Vera. He had been waiting and hoping to reconnect with her ever since. After waiting for a long time with no luck, he decided to go looking for her himself. He remembered that when they connected, there had been a station sign visible behind Vera. So Nick started going to that station every single day, until he had grown into a young man. And one day Vera finally walked through. He sat right down across from her. Vera never ran into Ado. She and Nick had met on that train instead, and the two of them fell in love and got married. The day Vera showed up at the police station, but did not recognize Nick, he knew right away that her world had changed. He had never expected something like this to happen between them. Vera had completely erased him from her memory. He was afraid Vera would find a way to leave and go back to the world she remembered, so he deliberately gave her that address, letting her discover David's affair, hoping she would stop holding on to the world in her memory and maybe start to remember him. But the only thing Vera ever cared about was her daughter. Vera pleaded with Nick to hand over the television and the VCR. Turns out after Nick realized Vera did not remember him. He had figured out it was the storm. That had created a bridge between the two timelines, so he had taken the television and VCR to run some tests. When he confirmed the connection was real, he quickly pulled the plug. The figure Nick had briefly glimpsed on screen before had been his older self. Vera begged Nick to help her. She could not afford to lose her daughter, but Nick refused. Vera backed herself to the edge of the balcony and pleaded with Nick to save her. Then she just let herself fall. Nick stared down at Vera's lifeless body and lost it. He sprinted to the basement, grabbed the television and VCR, and ran back to the old house. The storm was almost over by now, as the television flickered. He appeared on the screen and made contact with his younger self from 25 years ago. After the storm ended, Vera woke up in her own bed, with her husband David lying beside her. She was back in her original world. She ran to her daughter's room. Her daughter was sound asleep. Vera held her daughter and cried tears of joy. Everything was just as it had been. Once she calmed down, Vera went to the storage room. There was no television and no VCR in there. Her husband said there had never been anything like that in the house. Vera understood immediately. Nick had told his younger self to take those things away. Without the television and VCR, Vera would never end up in another world. Vera had made it back to her original world. But this world had changed too. Then something suddenly hit her. She ran out to the garden and started digging around, and finally found the matchbook. No matter how the timeline shifted, it could not change the fact that David had cheated, but she had no desire to confront him about it. When Vera saw Angel and Idos' mom walking together, she knew Nick had kept his promise. He had told young Nick not to expose the truth about Angel killing his wife, because if Angel and Idos' mom got arrested, Vera would never have met Ito, and would never have met David, and her daughter would never have existed. Nick had done everything in his power to bring Vera back to her daughter. Vera decided she had to do something. She grabbed a shovel and headed to the slaughterhouse, dug up the woman's remains and called the police. The officers arrived quickly, and the one who showed up was Nick. Vera came face to face with Nick again. She looked at him and smiled. The confusion on Nick's face slowly gave way to a smile too. Every memory inside Nick came rushing back. A bond that had crossed 25 years of time finally found its perfect ending.